this camera's not. Whenever I'm doing my tape,
it's because of the light.
Is it?
Yeah, because you've got light above. The light should be in front of us, and then everything.
Whenever I'm doing my tape online things, I'm always like looking at myself, going, "Oh wow, I look really nice on this camera." I'm not. I don't usually, so it's a bit of a change. Anyway, so we kind of jumped straight in there. Well, this is us doing.
Did you record
a podcast? Yeah, I switched it on already. Yeah, I just thought we'd go crack on. So.
This is my podcast, by the way.
We're doing a podcast.
You can't just hijack Dadchat. This is Dadchat, not Mum's chat.
So this is Dadchat this time, but it's also going to be our black audition tape because we thought we'd,
We've got to blend it too.
Like, what do they say? Kill two birds with one stone.
Kill two birds with one stone.
We're quite time poor because I don't know if you guys know this, but we have 4 children. And they're all in primary school except for one, and she's in daycare. So we actually have a pretty busy life, I guess you would say. We have snuck away into the office and put all the kids on video games out there for half an hour and try and get this podcast audition tape fixed. Wayne's on the beer. I've got my wine, but it's non-alcoholic, so I think I've got a big enough personality without alcohol involved.
My beer's alcoholic. It's been a long week. And it's Oktoberfest time, so I'm looking forward to my beer.
Yeah, there you go.
However, this isn't parenting,
Parenting skills 101. Put your children on there.
This isn't the audition for parenting awards or anything. It's like, oh yeah, we gave them video games so we could go drink beer and record ourselves.
Yeah.
It's pretty
it's a Sunday though, so Sundays usually like kids fend for themselves and we chill out. Yeah. So anyway, so we've got the 4 kids. We're very busy. Wayne is doing his dad. What would you call it? Dad coaching. Dad experting.
Dad coaching and everything in between. So it's very interesting.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
So he also has a full-time job. I work casual. Sometimes I'll work 5 days a week. Sometimes I'll work 3 days a week. Sometimes I won't work any days. But so we have all of that going on where we're both working really hard. We're doing our stuff on top of that. I'm also studying for Cert 4 at the moment. And we are also renovating our house right now. So this is the second house that we've renovated together. Well, I suppose the second one we've renovated full stop because neither of us did anything like that beforehand. And I was in charge of the whole project. We're doing our bathrooms. We've actually done the majority of our house already, and now we're onto the bathrooms. And I had organized a project. I'd organized the trades. Our lovely Tyler was in getting everything fixed up, and sadly he had some personal issues, I suppose you would call them. We won't get into that, but he promised he would be here on Monday, and I had the plumber booked in for Saturday, which was yesterday, and I had the glass people come to do the shower, coming to the shower on Monday. Everything was booked in, and on Tuesday he just said he wasn't coming, and he wasn't coming back. And so we were stuck in a situation. We were like, oh, we've got these deadlines. I feel like we're on the block. We need to have this stuff done by the end of the week. What are we going to do? And so we just got into it ourselves. And
we learned to tile. Magically, and the great thing is,
within half an hour.
Yeah, and the great thing is, it actually looks pretty sexy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks awesome. So we, like the floor, some of the floor had been done. So while Wayne was out getting bits and pieces, I just started laying, tiles on the floor. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. What can you do? Started laying tiles on the floor. By the time he got back, we had to go on the angle grinder, had to go with the tile cutter. We got the whole thing done, and we just kept checking in with YouTube videos. How are we going to do this? We
how do I cut a tile?
Yeah. How do I use my tile cutter? How do I cut a tile with an angle grinder? That was my big thing. I had my safety glasses and my safety goggles on, but I was a bit terrified of this bit of equipment chopping off my fingers. But anyway, we got through it, and we are halfway through the walls. We've put the walls up. We're doing a lovely subway tile.
I think if we didn't do subway tiles, the entire bathroom would be done by now.
You reckon?
Yes, because we're laying individual tiles.
Yeah.
And we're, instead of just going big ones. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Done. Thanks for coming.
I agree, but this is something that I had chosen at the beginning when we thought we had a tiler. So now we're learning to tile ourselves, and so far everything's level and it looks really good, and we're very proud of ourselves. And it's not the first time we've
It's
been.
the third bathroom we've done anyway. So.
Well, but we've never done it. We've always designed it and project managed it and been part of it, but this is the first time we've actually done it from beginning to, well, it will be at the end. We've done the demoing, Wayne's done the plastering and the dip rocking, and we've done the tiling, and plumber's coming in tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, next weekend.
Oh, we better. Jared's going to listen to this anyway, but we better.
Oh yeah, the electrician.
We better message Jared. Sorry, Jared, if you hear it on the podcast.
Jared's our electrician, so he's going to be coming down hopefully and getting that organised. So that's our project that's happening right now. It's thrown in the deep end, but it's not the first time that we've had to take things on ourselves. We always jump in and just go, yeah, well, I'm sure we could do that, and we try our hand at it. And both of us love jumping on the tools, even though we have zero experience. We just crack on, and we get people to give us advice, or we check out YouTube and Google, and we just do it, and we get on with it. And then we have a bit of a laugh doing it with each other as well. And then we're so proud of the project that we've created at the end. And
and I think with this instance, like we had a really good power circle, like Ben, over in Goulburn.
We have a friend who's a builder.
Who couldn't make it over, but we were able to check in and sort of do little, I guess you could say, milestone steps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to make sure everything was going well. And that was pretty good. So we can hopefully knock this over in another week.
Yeah. So one of the things that people often ask, I suppose, is when you're working together so closely like that, because we've not only done Renos together, or we parent together, obviously, but we've also worked together nearly our entire relationship. We have trained racehorses together. We've trained greyhounds together. We've worked in. Did I say racehorses?
Yeah,
I thought I said something else. We have worked in the same factory with each other. I got my forklift license recently, and I was asking Wayne to, I suppose, give me a few tips and train me on the forklift, and that's the type of stuff that we do. We really enjoy being together, and there's times where we might push each other's buttons or snap at each other or whatever, and I suppose we deal with that through communication. So rather than giving the silent treatment, which is something we may have done when we were younger. Yeah, you do it too. We talk to each other and we communicate, and we know each other's communication styles, and we purposely went out before and spoke to each other about what are the things that I do that irritate you and vice versa. And okay, now that we know, we'll try not to do those things to each other, like push each other's buttons or whatever. And that's one of the things that really helps in our relationship and makes us be able to communicate with each other. And not freak out. I think brutal honesty is a term that you'd use. Yeah. Well, but let's say honesty, but then in some cases it is brutal, because when it's honest, sometimes people don't like being confronted with that honesty. Do they? No.
It's very interesting. Everyone's like, oh, Caitriona's so direct. She just said she didn't like it. Like, there's nothing direct about that.
Yeah. So we have very different personalities. I'm direct and to the point. I don't bullshit. I don't beat around the bush. Small talk irritates the crap out of me. We used to do a lot of networking events, and Wayne he just thrives in that social butterfly situation and he loves chatting to people. And I'm like at the bar going, I don't want to talk to anybody. And people just are like, you're just chalk and cheese. You're so open, and you just love talking to people. And I can be really closed and on guard, and then when I get to know people, I let them into my inner circle, and then you see the real me. But oftentimes when people meet me for the first time, they're just like, oh my God, you're a bitch. Okay, to put it bluntly, thanks, Wayne. Yeah.
So with I was thinking about just this reno.
This house reno.
This house reno. What's one thing that you've learned about yourself, considering just about everything has gone wrong?
That's a hard question. I get I already knew I get really overwhelmed and stressed out, and Wayne's really good at like going, you know, if I'm stressed out, he's really good at saying, it's okay, let's take it one step at a time. And if it's the other way around, if you're really stressed out, or if you're like, it's a disaster, I think I'm quite good at saying, well, let's look at the bigger picture here. We can just, you know, I think we do that for each other at different times.
Yeah, it depends who's there.
Yeah. But what I've learned about myself is that I think if I give things a go, or just, I don't know, what am I trying?
You can achieve anything.
You know, when I first see something being done, or when I first see something that intimidates me, I'm like, oh my God, I could never do that. Like, that looks, you know, impossible. And then when you're thrown in the deep end and it has to be done, and you just do it, you're like, wow, I can do that. Look at me, like, look at me go, you know, like you can learn something new all the time. And just because you might be, you know, you're 36, I'll be 36 next week. So just because we're that, I wouldn't say middle age, but you know, that more older age. What's that say?
I've had a rude and been brushing. Probably had a ride. Never had a ride.
That was a text message that came in on the computer. Anyway, so what was I saying? Something about you forgot what she was saying.
So
rewind the tape and be like,
no, you can achieve anything you put your mind to it.
Oh, just learn that you
skills.
can learn new skills. So as an adult at the age of 35 or whatever, I have taken a Cert 3 and completed it. I'm doing a Cert 4 right now. I've gotten my forklift license. I've got my motorbike license, and this is all as an adult after having 4 kids. So I've gone out and done these things, and I think, I can get on the tools, and I can learn a new tool. And yeah, I might not be the best tradesperson, but I can have a go, and I can be an apprentice, if you know, to the people that come in, or we can get together and do it ourselves. And the fact that, I am confident in myself and know, you know, I can go out there and do that. I don't have to be stuck in this box of, I'm a mom, and I, you know, for 10 years I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't go out to work. I rode racehorses in our training, but I didn't go out and work in the workforce. And I think I felt like I was, after I had finished riding racehorses, I was stuck in this box of like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I can't really, not commit to society, but contribute to society. And now I know that I can, you know, if I want to go out there and work on a building site, I can say I've got experience. Or if I want to go out and get a forklift, you know, job, I can go and do that. And I'm not going to let, sexual discrimination or gender discrimination stand in my way. I'm going to go out and do it, or age discrimination, because I find that sometimes we go up against those types of things. So that's not going to happen. I can do whatever, I can be whatever I want to be. Yeah.
You know, one thing that was in, remember that top 10, and it's actually in the next book that I'm writing. Yes. You know, the reasons about husband and wife teams working together, you know, in a business. And, you know, one of them, of course, is exactly that. Like, you know, the wife was doing something first, and she had a couple of kids, and she stayed home, and then it's like, oh, I'll just help the husband with the business.
Yeah.
You know, that's not really her dream.
No.
You know what I mean? And so she's not invested in it as much as the guy, or vice versa. Could be stay-at-home dad, you know, and he's helping the wife out.
Yeah.
They're not invested in it. There's always that disconnect.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen it countless times, and you know, how many couples have I worked with where it's like, she or he doesn't want to be involved in the business. Yeah. They should just leave, but they won't. Yeah. And they're sabotaging each other. It's like,
But dreams are fluid, I think. So when we met, Wayne's dream at the time was to become the ultimate racehorse trainer. And I wasn't. I was just like, I just like riding them. I don't really like doing anything else. I'm not really, you know, involved. Like, I wasn't really that passionate about it. I just liked the riding, and Wayne was really into the racehorse dream. And then that fizzled out. That didn't happen for us. But now I've been out of horse racing for a couple of years now. I think it's 3 years. And I really want to train racehorses. I want to go back. I want to be the trainer. I want to be that crazy old lady who's like, I'm going to jump on that one.
I definitely think that will change when the second you have to start picking up shit.
But I wouldn't, because I would be so rich. I'd be so rich. I would have minions to like pick up horse shit for me. So I want to be a racehorse trainer, but I want to be a rich racehorse trainer. I don't want to be, you know, slumming it like we did when we were doing it. So that's one of my, anyway. So, and then I think as couples, you know, we're individuals. I have a dream. It might, you know, my dream might be over here and your dream might be over here. But oftentimes somebody will, what's the word when they kind of like not get rid of their dream, but they squash it down a bit.
Oh, they
compromise.
Yeah.
And so they compromise on their dream to support their partner and their partner's dream. And yeah, you might have that, even though you don't mean to do it, you might be feeling, you know, a bit of not anger, resentment towards your partner. Like, well, I'm doing this for you and this is your dream and it was never my business and I'm here, you know, slaving away in your business for you kind of thing. And if you don't talk, I suppose, and communicate and go, well, why are we doing this business together? What's the point? Are we just doing it to pay the bills every day, or do we have an end goal? Like, where are we going with this? What's the whole point of it? And I think if you do that, then when you come to those hard days where you're stressed and everything's going wrong, you can remind each other, you know, we're not just doing this to pay the bills day by day. We're not doing this to get by. We're doing this so we can get to the next level or the next step, and then, you know, and move on, like, go from there. And if you haven't spoken about that, if you haven't spoken about those goals with each other, like we always check in with each other every couple of months, like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Like, it's, you know.
Oh, I want this one.
Yeah, but and if you don't do that, you can be like always at loggerheads.
Yeah, and I mean, so what do you do? And obviously, you know, I've had this discussion with a few people, and sometimes people are too far gone. They're in quicksand that much that they just can't see any light, and they're just like, they're dragging each other down, and you're like, okay, you need an end goal. You need to sort of get out of that sort of shit thinking.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people?
I think it's important
because
I don't know. I don't really know.
Because you've done a lot of learning.
Oh yeah, so I would say like it depends where you are. So as a couple, funnily enough, we have always been in that in a similar place where we both want to grow. So we'll both be reading the same self-help books, or, you know, I'll be going off in my like spiritual, you know, learning how to be a better person, and he'll be going off in his how to be a better dad and how to, you know, be a better husband. And we are growing as individuals, but we're doing it at the same pace. And a lot of the time in a relationship, you'll have one person who's doing that growth and they're trying to self-develop, and the other person's like, no, I'm not there. I'm not there yet. Yeah. And it's not possible to bring that person up to your level. You just have to wait, and you can't, you know, bombard them with like, oh, but you should watch this YouTube video and you should read this or whatever. Like, you have to wait for them. You have to be patient and wait for them to get to your level. And if they're not going to get there, you know, maybe it's not right for you guys.
Do you think it's also one of those things where the expectation levels? Do you remember? So we had a chat about expectations, you know, a couple of weeks ago, where you were like about you sleeping, and you were like, oh yeah, always, you know, worry about, you're expecting things from me to be around, but I just want to have a nap. It's like, I don't care.
We joke that I have narcolepsy. It's like a sleep disorder, because I like to go to bed early. I like to take naps during the day. It used to be a lot worse. I actually think I've been getting better recently, but the more
too much on.
If there's too much to do, then I have to be up and do all that stuff. But oftentimes, you know, I can have a break between 2 and 3. I don't have to pick the kids up till 3 o'clock. So between 2 and 3, I can take a nap. And I think I have designed my life so that I can take those timeouts for myself. So whether I actually put headphones on and meditate, or whether I go to sleep, I usually do that. But then I also go to bed really early, or get tired a lot faster than Wayne does. And it's something that it's never been an issue. He's never had a problem with it, but I've always felt really self-conscious about it, because I've been like, you know, do you wish you had a better wife who was more energetic and stuff? And he's always been like that.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No. So I mean, if you take that to like, you know, there's an expectation level there, you know, so there's no expectations. That's you.
Yeah.
There's no expectation, like, that's just part of you.
Yeah.
So we don't go, ooh,
well, yeah,
change
I've been like that since you met me, and that was 15 years ago.
But it's like, you know, I see it with some others and some other, you know, friends, partners, and them, and it's like, look, let's not, maybe, not push anything. Just go, I love you, you're awesome, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? everything's progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
But we've got to live in the moment. So, yeah, as long as I'm right about, I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, you're right about if you have expectations and they're not met, that's when you feel upset or angry. And that's the only reason why we feel things are not going right, because we expected them to go one way and then that's not happening, and then that causes stress. And therefore, if we didn't expect anything, if we just accepted everything, we would never be disappointed, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying you should just accept and sit back, accept your life for what it is. But when it comes to each other, I accept you for who you are and you accept me for who I am, along with all our faults. And then that means that we're not setting each other up for failure. Like, you know, like he's not living up to my expectations or vice versa. Look, we've had an intruder. Hold on a second.
Special guest Logan. Yes? Logan Cohen.
Oh no, here's the next one.
To get to Noah.
Can you guys just go out while we finish? Just leave it. Just leave it.
Just leave it.
I want that.
Can you guys go while we finish this up?
Yeah.
I'll just edit this bit out later.
Yeah, go check it out. Go check it out. We'll be out in a second.
Yeah, because the other one's out there. Off you go. Oh, anyway.
Anyway,
Jesus, even like a head. So we kind of glossed over. I just said there that we have, known each other for 15 years, and we kind of glossed over that bit of our relationship. So we probably should have done that at the beginning, like talked a bit about our relationship and how we got to having 4 of these. So we met. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm from Ireland. I'm not from Australia. I don't know if you picked up on that accent. Wayne is from Australia, and we both met. We both met in Sydney back in 2005. So I had gone there to get a job riding racehorses, and I think I was 21. Yeah, and Wayne had been working there for 5 years or something at that stage. So he'd already moved out of his home and had been there for a really long time. And we met, and I was the Irish girl, and that's what they called me there. Hey, Irish. And Wayne, I was looking for somebody to take me on basically tourist day dates, like touristy trips where somebody could show me around Sydney or whatever, and that job fell to Wayne, and and that's how we met. And so Wayne, I fell out with the manager at the race course. Hang on, shh, I'm trying to talk. I fell out with the manager at the race course and basically told him to shove his job, and I don't think that works. And he, because I was living there as well, he said go, and I had nowhere to live or anything. And so Wayne had a car, and I'm like coming up to Wayne, I'm bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, can I please have your car? And he's like, yes. And he gave me his keys, and he had no idea if I was coming back. This is some Irish girl. Yeah, here you go. Here's my keys. Didn't know if I was coming back or whatever. And so anyway, while I was gone, something happened with the boss. You tell them.
No, nothing happened until the next day. So yeah, it was just he just asked if I was going or staying, and I said I was going to go. So.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to go to Ireland anyway. So
that's right. We had already booked our tickets to go to Ireland.
We didn't tell anyone, but they suspected because you kept blabbing it to everyone.
Okay. Yeah, I can't keep a secret for shit. So he decided to come. He was coming to Ireland, so he decided to quit his job that he'd been there for a really long time and come with me. And we came to Bathurst, and we did a tour around Australia for a little while, and then we went back to Ireland, and we stayed in Ireland for 7 years, and we got married. Like, I think we were together 2 years, and we decided to get married, and we had this awesome wedding where it was just like a marquee and a barbecue, and like people could sit wherever they want, and very low key. We
only wanted 10 people.
Yeah.
And I think Caitriona's parents wanted 200.
Yeah.
And
so we compromised.
We compromised down to 50 or 60, but it was all family, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic night, actually.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. And so that was, so we stayed in Ireland. We got married, had 2 kids while we were over in Ireland. And then there was a recession hit over there. Everything had kind of gone to shit. We both lost our jobs at the same time. And although my family were over there, and I have a brother, and I had 2 brothers and a sister, and she had a boyfriend and kids and everything, we didn't really want to stay there.
It was a bleak outlook.
Yeah.
You know, like it was your recession.
Recession, yeah.
Yeah. Like
And we
pretty...
just didn't see a future for our kids over there. So we just one day I said to Wayne, I think I'd like to move to Australia. And he said, well, I don't want to move there and then for you to change your mind in a year and move back, because that would be a bit of a nightmare, because obviously Wayne had learned by then that I make fast decisions, like what would you call them? Impulsive decisions. And he didn't want me to make this impulsive decision and then for it to be the wrong one and for us to come back. But I promised him that wouldn't happen. So we made the decision in November, and then we were gone by the 31st of December.
Yeah, New Year's Eve we flew. New Year's Eve.
Yeah, we flew out. Yeah, we arrived on the 1st of January in 2nd of January, and then our little boy had his first birthday on the 3rd of January. Yeah, and we've lived here ever since, and we have moved houses many times. I think we've moved house 11.
Yeah, once every 18 months we're on average.
We have moved house 11 times with children, including moving halfway across the world.
Yeah.
And we just deal with it. It's stressful and it's crazy. And I think our life has never been as busy or as stressful as crazy as it is now. And we just deal with it, and we grow, and we love each other, and we just get better and better. I mean, it's been...
We just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
15... We're together 14 years, and our relationship has never been as fun or as strong as it is now. We're like best friends who have benefits.
Friends, we're actually we're friends with benefits. Yeah. And we wear a wedding ring.
And we wear our wedding rings, yeah. And we raise our children together, and we have the same philosophies.
You're trying to hug your camera.
Sorry.
I'm going to post this video onto YouTube. So if you're listening, jump onto YouTube, search The Indestructible Dad, subscribe, and you'll see just how much of a camera hog Caitriona is.
I'm going to have to edit that out of the block audition tape.
No, that'll be all right.
Anyway, talking about the block auditions, I think one of the things, I don't know if they've gotten to know a bit about us. I guess we've spoken a bit.
Yeah.
One of the things.
It's 5 minutes worth of.
Well, I'm going to edit it, so I'll fix it. Anyway, one of the things about going on the block, I suppose, is that they would like to know what our Renos style is, or our styling. What would you call it?
My styling.
Design style.
So my design style is what I describe as Wreck-It Ralph.
That's not the design part.
It is. That's the design. It's like clean slate, wreck it. Just demolish that room and be instructed on what way to go.
That's right. Be instructed is right.
However, I'm not doing subway tiles ever again. After these 2 bathrooms, it's not happening.
Okay.
I'm getting the big slab ones.
Oh, we are doing another bathroom after this one. So my design style, because we've bought a few houses and looked at houses to reno and whatever. I really like that old style house, like anything that's old, all the way up to I suppose I would draw the line about the 80s. Maybe the 90s, but probably around the 80s and back. And
is there a name for that? Not just a time period?
I don't know.
Because it's within each time period, isn't there? Like
no, but it's not
50 different styles.
But I like to take those old houses and to reno them so that you're keeping the character of that house and that era, but then you're bringing in the modern and you're like complementing. And that's what we've done with the houses that we've lived at, where we've like we've just basically like glamorized these older style houses and really brought them to the new age. Whereas I'm not really a fan of like the modern stuff that's being built right now, where it's just like minimalist and clean edges and soulless. And I love big cornices and big architraves and big skirting boards, all that kind of stuff. I love like ceiling roses and chandeliers and just adding all that character into a place. And minimalist is not really my style. What? Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing. I was like, oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
I can't do any of that.
Oh. So I think that explains. Yeah, I'm kind of looking around this room going, we haven't fully completed this room.
This room is, as you can see, there's like a, oh no, that's sort of done. The doorway's done. We just haven't painted. There's a lot of fix-up jobs that you're meant to do, but you haven't.
Anyway, so I think we've kind of spoken enough about it. I think I have enough content to do our block audition tape. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's listening and want to give us some tips. We can add a bit in. But talking about the podcast, or going back to the podcast and the dad chat.
We're already on.
Yeah. What was our topic of discussion for today? Because
I think the big thing about today, since we're doing the Renos and it's a Reno thing, I really think that I think the whole lot of communication between husband and wife is a big thing.
Yeah.
Especially in this, it's stressful as hell.
It is.
The fact that shit went south with Tyler pulling out. You go, holy crap, what are we got to do? And you just got to roll the sleeves up and get into it, and not
panic.
Yeah. So we bought ourselves a week now to finish off all the tiling and everything like that.
Yeah.
And that's juggled around work, and it's juggled around.
Yeah.
And because it's not like we get to go, right, we've got 12 hours where we can just smash out a room.
No.
It's like we can't start before 9 until the kids go to school.
Yeah.
Then we might have Sura here as well.
That's our 3-year-old.
Yeah, 3-year-old gremlin who just came in there a minute ago.
Yeah.
So you've got, so you may only get an hour at a time where you can just have a solid run. I thought there the other day we completed. It took an hour to do 2 rows of subway tiles. That bottom.
Did we cut those out? Oh, that's because we had to get that bottom one level.
Yeah, we had to get the bottom level. But then once we done the next 7 rows in an hour as well, because we were just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool if we, anyway. I think a solid run. So
you're right about the trying to fit everything into our day, including these Renos, is mental. That's why my naps have gone out the window. So it's get up,
That's why you're grumpy.
We're up, I'm not that grumpy. We're up at Wayne's, Wayne is up at 5-6 a.m. and he goes and he hits the gym and he comes home, and then the kids are up at 6, and so we're all up doing stuff at 6, and then it's get the kids out the door. If I'm not working, it's one kid is usually here. Do the Renos at 9 o'clock. Try and eat as well, feed ourselves, and try and entertain that small one.
We're looking at we'll happily take sponsorship from ready-made meals or something.
Yeah. And then and then before you know it, it's 3 o'clock and it's tools down and it's time to go pick up the kids. And then Wayne's going to his work, and then the kids are coming home and I've got to do homeworks and push the bags away and let's get the dinner on, do the dinner, and then they have to, have showers and baths, and then it's bedtime. And before you know it, it's 8:30 and I'm falling into bed because I'm exhausted. And then it starts all the next, again the next day, and it doesn't stop at the weekend. It's just continuous. Our lives are.
Well, yesterday we had hockey grand final, and and you fit sport in, and Bruce finished footy, which is great because that's that's one nice thing.
And I think your brain has to be in so many. You're wearing so many hats, and your brain is trying to organize all those different hats. So you've got the Reno brain and the project manager brain and the mom and the dad brain and the being a couple brain and it's just everything, organizing the house.
Yeah, you still got
you still have all your clients.
Email, and you're
I've got a job. I still have to do that. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, so it's a bit mad. So one of the things, and I know Wayne has spoken about this in his podcast before, and the reason I know is because I told him about it, was the love languages. I don't even think you said that on your podcast where you spoke about love languages.
I'm sure I did.
You didn't say Caitriona said this.
I said Caitriona said it. I said to Nadine, I was like, Caitriona was all and she was into love languages as well.
So the love languages, I've read that book, and there is a love languages for children as well. If you want, to find out the best way to show your children that you love them. So it's not necessarily the best way to love; it's the best way to show them that you love them, because often
how they receive love.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So I might show love to Wayne by doing things for him because that's what I like. So I like.
Servitude. You like servitude.
Yeah. So I like a person, Wayne, to come and have the house clean or have the dishes done or I don't know, usually a clean house, a clean garden, dishes done, maybe dinner cooked. Those are my if he does that and I come home and I haven't had to ask him to do it, it's just done, and it's oh my God, he's thinking about me and he loves me, and so I will do those acts of service for him. And he'd be like, so? I was like, I got your car clean, babe. And he's like, oh, yeah.
He just never have got my car
No, but
clean.
if that happened.
Yeah, but I'd be like, what do you, why would you just say that? Like, I think it's interesting because I think when we got Noah, when we done Noah's our eldest, Noah's 11, and the results from his shocked me.
Okay.
Because it was like he wanted high fives regularly, he wanted hugs, and it was like, this little hippie doesn't even.
He doesn't show any affection.
Do anything like that, but he expects us.
Yeah, he just doesn't.
Which is fine.
He doesn't go looking for affection like the other ones who are like affection, suckers.
Ooh.
He's a very like he's an isolated kind of guy. He likes his own space. He doesn't talk too much. When it's bedtime, he's just like night, and he goes off to his room and jumps up onto his bed and starts reading. And there's no like hug or whatever.
I think he's happy with his own routine.
Yeah. But anyway, so he did the love language test, and when it was like, what would you prefer, this or this, all of the stuff was affection, like touching, and I want high fives, and I want hugs, and I would want a kiss, and I want to hang out with you, and all this kind of stuff. And we were really surprised because we thought that he just liked his own space, but it turns out that was a misconception.
Yeah.
And so he's still not going and actively looking for those affectionate things, but we have to make sure that we're doing that for him because I thought he was something different. And we have to make sure that we give him hugs before night and give him high fives on his homework and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
back to like love languages, because I'm
sorry.
I'm a touchy feely sort of person. So I show love that way because that's how I like to receive love.
And I'm not.
And you're anti-touch.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you touching me?
Why are you touching me?
Because I love you. So it's interesting. And that caused, I think a few years ago, that caused a lot of, not a lot, but I think that caused tension.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a moms listening out there, but even
there's plenty of moms listening.
Even for the dads who are listening.
They love Dadchat.
That you might, there's something that I call, the guy who wrote the 5 love languages calls them the love buckets, but so I've kind of moved on from that and I call my touch bucket. And when you have a baby, so after you're pregnant, you have your baby, and let's say you're breastfeeding or not breastfeeding, you're just bottle feeding, but usually that baby is on you a lot. And if you have a toddler, the toddler is usually on you a lot. And you're completely touched out. Your touch bucket is super full. It's overflowing with being touched. And your poor husband has not been, he's been at work or whatever, he hasn't been, surrounded by tiny people, and so his touch bucket is empty, and he comes home and he's expecting to fill his touch bucket up with yours, and you're like, no, it's not going to happen. And so because he didn't understand that and I never really communicated it was just a cause of tension between us all the time.
Because and you can see it from both sides. And now I understand both sides, but for a lot of guys out there, in, let's say they're in a sales-based role or an account management role, they get rejected 90% of the day.
Yeah,
that's the best. That's even the best. The best guys.
Bad,
the best guys are like.
Yeah.
They're beaten down to a pulp, and then all they need is their number one human. Well, not even just reassurance. It's just a hug and a kiss.
It's love. Yeah.
That's all they need, and a lot of people don't get that, and it's and so two sides. It's the two sides not going. What's going on with this human during the day? So they're not going to affect in the afternoon. You know what I mean? I think that's because the touch bucket, the woman with the toddler and the baby, out of her mind because she's like, I've got this kid hanging off me and this other one hanging off a boob and this one, doing this, and then the guy's like, he feels isolated. The woman feels isolated.
Yeah. Even
though she's surrounded by people,
she just wants her own space.
Yeah, she wants her own space. And then the guy comes back and he's like the kids are sort of thrown at him.
Yeah, definitely,
and which is fine because they probably want to catch up with their kids and have fun, and that's why they're doing this shitty job. But at some point it does just have to be like, it's not hard for 10 seconds for bit of a pash, bit of tongue, bit of a hug.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and that is a reassurance to go. That's a touch point to go. We're in this together, blah blah blah. And there's a big thing about, someone, I can't remember who it was, and they were like, oh, it's always the bloody guy who cheats, blah, blah, just, I know that's a bit off topic, but that's tied into
He's just looking for that affection somewhere else.
He's looking for that. And the woman, same as a woman. You know, why is she cheating? Because she wants something else. Because she's not getting it.
Yeah.
Because they're not talking.
Yeah.
And she feels like shit because their relationship, and she's out looking for something else.
Yeah. Not
searching for it, but she's sort of like, I'm not appreciated, I'm not loved, you know, and that's it's a vicious cycle.
So talking about other people in their relationships, I would like to talk a little bit about what makes us different and why we feel like we have the authority to kind of give advice.
I think
on other, to
all
other
advice,
couples.
So all advice is just, hey, I think people misconstrue advice and has been told what to do. All we can say, and the point about Dadchat is going, you know what? People have been going through similar shit. Yeah. And that's similar shit. Yeah. And this is what worked for that couple.
And this is what works for us.
And this is what works for us. What works for us is communication and continual growth.
Yeah.
If you don't
that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. If you don't continually grow, you're going to die. So it's like all things. You don't grow, you die. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Yes. Your mind doesn't grow. Yeah. Your mind goes.
Well, you die slowly.
You die slowly. Yeah. You die slow death.
Yeah.
But a tree, once the tree stops growing, it dies. Yeah, it's dying, you know? Same as a business, same as our bodies.
And just because, so we feel like we have gone through all those things that other couples have gone through.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, you know, like I'm a child of divorce because of, you know, an outside influence. And when we went through a rough time when Noah was, I think he was one and a half. Or two, I don't know. It was around that period. You were pregnant. We didn't know you were pregnant with Rue.
Oh, okay.
But we had outside influences, saying their little piece behind someone's back, and then that was impacting us, and it was like, the fuck's going on here, you know? And that was dodgy.
Yeah. So we've had to deal with that outside influence,
and a lot of people like that happens every day for a lot of relationships. Like
that's true. Because,
you know, it's like, oh, what's that loser doing? And it's like, well, he's not a loser. He's working his ass off 70 hours a week to pay all the bills. You know, you're doing this, and that's
and
where
he
you
might
guys
be
are
going off and like venting to his friends, which, you know, basically sounds like he's bagging his wife to his friends, and she might be going off venting to her mom or her friend, and she's bagging him, and it's like they're not so their friends are giving them advice. Oh, you should just leave him, or you should do this or whatever, and they're not coming together.
They give up because it's fucking. You know, the biggest thing I can't hack is weakness, and that's the give up fucking mentality.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like it's too easy to stop and just roll over and go, man.
It's a finished.
You know, it's much harder. It's much harder to roll the sleeves up.
Yeah.
And get on with it and go. Yeah. I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want this or this. I want to make sure I'm happy. I want to do this and this.
Yeah.
But there's no easy way out.
Yeah, you know? I agree. Yeah.
It's there's too many people giving up early, and that's because the people they fucking take advice from is some drunken hippie who's never been there, done that. It's like, you know, there's a couple of people back in Goulburn that I was coaching, you know, when we were business coaching. They were taking business advice from Bob down at the pub, who'd never owned a business or run a team, and he was bagging them for having a business coach. And it's like, well, hang on a sec, Bob. You've worked for the same person for 30 years. You're a toxic person. Yeah. You're here at the pub at 3:30 in the afternoon getting your afternoon schooners. What credibility do you have to give this person advice?
But that's a really common thing. There's an ad on TV. Did you see that ad on TV with the hairdresser where she's like, you should take out a loan, like the longest you can take. And so that's a really common scenario. But anyway, so we've dealt with some stuff in our relationships. So at the beginning, we dealt with people not wanting us to be together and telling us that we weren't right for each other and not to get married and to break up. So we dealt with that. And then a little bit further into our relationship, we dealt with that issue where we just weren't communicating with each other. We were venting to other people and they were telling us that we should, you know, get a divorce and we should split up, and we got through that. And then lots of other things. We've dealt with a lot of anxiety on both of our behalfs. Like, we've both suffered from anxiety at different stages of our life. I have suffered from depression and lots of other kind of mental health issues, and have been able to be open with Wayne and saying, you know, I'm going through this stuff right now. You're just going to have to bear with me until, you know, I get better.
And a big part of that is also being selfless. You know, so when the other person hears it, it's like, okay, what activities and habits can we create that works better for you? You know, like You know, it's
like
everything.
we actually moved out of
habit.
So we actually moved to town for my mental health. So I wasn't happy where we were living, and it wasn't working out for me. And although we had spoken a lot of, let's move. We went on for like 2 years and we were talking about let's move. And eventually it was, and then like, we should move back. And then eventually it was like, no, seriously, I have been ill nearly the whole time I've lived here, like mentally. I need to go. And then it was like, all right, let's sell the house, we're going. And we just made that decision there and then.
Rang Chris up. No, I think I messaged Chris that night. I was like, can you do an appraisal on my house tomorrow? And he goes, I can tell you what it's worth now. I was like, well, what's it worth? And he goes,
and he told us
he was like,
it was worth more.
He goes, I'll get you 5. He goes, I'll get you 535 minimum. And I was like, that sounds good to us. Because we had, in our head, we were like 500. We were like 500 and we go. And he goes, 5.3, I'll get you 535 tomorrow. Let me do a proper appraisal. Yeah. And then he come back and he had three other agents with him just to make sure he was bang on. And he goes, I'll sell it for 549. Not a cent less. And we're like, right, man, you do your thing. And he did. He had it gone within 2 weeks. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we need to start wrapping things up soon. But what I wanted to say was, so going back to why we feel like we have, I guess, some sort of authority to give advice to other couples is because we've been together a long time. I mean, 15 years is a pretty long time. We have dealt with, a lot of the stuff that, we've never had to deal with the cheating stuff. That's never been an issue. But all the other kind of stuff that couples usually go through, we have gone through it and we've dealt with it. And we grow together and we've learned how to communicate with each other. And through it all, like now we're, what we said before, like best friends. We actually like going out with each other. We have a lot of the same things in common. So we like playing footy together. Wayne likes golf. I don't like golf, but I said to him, if he got me lessons, I would go and play golf with him. And we like taking the kids out and going to the beach. And when we have free time,
we're not near a beach.
We go away. But if we've got free time, I honestly, and you might think I'm a cow for this, but I don't ring up girlfriends and go, do you want to go for a coffee and a whinge? I go, hey, Wayne, what are you doing? Do you want to go for coffee? Because he's the person that I want to talk to. And vice versa. Like, I'm the person that you want to talk to. And we talk business. We talk about clients and we talk about personal stuff and we talk about kids and we talk about it all. And we build upon our relationship and build upon our communication. So there's so many levels, and we just really enjoy each other's company. And sometimes when you see us, you would think that we were like in that newlywed stage or that honeymoon stage.
We're in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, because we have that, and we find like if we get into a lull, we're like, well, we're a bit bored of each other. We go out and we find something that to energize us and to bring us back together. And what's something that could be new and exciting, and
Yeah, just time, and a lot of it's time. A lot of people, are time poor. And they'll sit on that and they'll go, oh, I don't have time.
No time.
It's like, well, I don't care if we go out at midnight for half an hour. Like you make the time and you make the effort you put in.
Yeah.
We
used to go out to dinner, like, because we used to do dates, and we used to go out to dinner, and it would be like, what we talk about? This is, kind of like we were.
It was forced. It
was obvious that we had nothing to talk about, and I think it's people joke about that. You walk into a restaurant and you see the couples that are actively talking and really engaged with each other are on a date, and then the people who are looking around the room are the people who've been married for ages. And we were like that. We didn't really have anything to talk about. And then I decided that we should be doing those things that newly couples do. So I would get 20 questions that personal questions that we would ask each other, and some of the answers that we had, we didn't even know about each other. So we would go prepared to the restaurant as if we were going on a date and trying to find out about each other, and so we would have something to talk about. And that I found that really great, like really insightful, and it brought us closer together. And then we would drive home, because often one of us would be the designated driver, and we would sit in our driveway for like an hour in the car just talking, it would keep going. And it's that kind of stuff that you think when you've been together for such a long time that you have nothing left to talk about, especially when you spend as much time together as we do, because we work together and we play together and we do a lot of stuff together. You think that there's nothing left to talk about, and it's not until you pull out those those actual deep questions and or even things like
even a point of view on
if you think about your partner, obviously their life from when you met them, and they may have told you the big things about what happened to them that shaped them in some way when they were younger, but you don't know what it was like for them day to day. Really, like, it's not something that you would talk about. And so we have gone out of our way to talk about each other's like past in a deep and meaningful, and like find out a lot about each other. And that's been really exciting and brought us closer together. And so that's that would be, you know, one of the things I would suggest is, you know, when you make dates with each other, don't just show up. Prepare.
Do a 20 questions thing dinner. And
make an effort.
Don't give a shit about their answers. Like, appreciate the honesty of them, because I know one thing, and probably early on, and I definitely say other people I saw before you, I held back a lot of stuff that I wanted to say because I was like, they can't accept. I don't think they can accept what I have to say. Therefore, like, what the fuck's going on? And then it was probably, I don't know, about a year or so after seeing you, that I was like, I can actually say everything that's on my mind.
And there's stuff that I held back from you while we were married for a really long time that you only found out like years and years later. And because I personally think like your husband or your partner is the person that you're supposed to divulge all, you know, they're the person that if you have a secret, you know, or if you have something embarrassing or something that you've been holding in for your whole life, or something that you wouldn't want anybody ever to know because it's that really dark, like desire or secret or whatever, they're the person that you can trust to share that with. And with us, we don't make any judgments. We just accept, hello. We let that person talk and we just accept that. And then it's like, wow, I didn't know that about you. Like, that's kind of exciting. Let's go do something with that, you know, or whatever.
Well, we better wrap it up because number 4 has come in again.
Hello.
And again, I'll have to remind everyone, check out the video of this on YouTube.
Yeah, because we're such good looking people.
The Indestructible Dad. You can see what number 4 terrorist looks like.
There she is.
She's gorgeous, but she is a brat. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. Caitriona, thank you for joining us on Dadchat.
That was really good. I enjoyed that, Wayne. Thank you so much.
No worries. We'll see you next time.
Okay.